Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Girouard. We got some awesome content to go through because this is great. We got some great injury news around the offensive side of the football ahead of this Falcons game, and it's extremely impactful for this rivalry matchup. And a Saints legend sounds off on Tyler Shough, shared his honest thoughts, and we're going to give you my reaction and share what he had to say. Friendly reminder to subscribe to Saints Now by Chat Sports for updates, news, live shows. We will be live for kickoff 1 hour before the game starts here on the channel. So make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, and tune in on game day. And in our sub battle, we're right behind the Dirty Birds. I need your help. Fun fact, both hosts are both named Trace. So let's win the battle of the Traces. Let's win the battle of the NFC South. And let's show the bosses who the better fan base is. Who Dat Nation? Sound off for me and give me a sub. Let's get into the injury news around the black and gold. Taliese Fuaga, he was back at practice. He was a limited participant on Thursday, which is absolutely awesome news. And in terms of the defensive side of the football, you see Davon Godchaux, he was out. That's a routine thing for him on rest days. On Thursdays, really nothing to go crazy about. But what is to go crazy about is Taliese Fuaga. He's back into the mix. This is huge for this Saints offense because the Falcons' pass rush has gotten better. They've invested a lot in that side of the football and in that area of their roster. And getting Fuaga back is going to be severely impactful for protecting Tyler Shough, helping get the run game going, as well as just protecting this offense and keeping it moving. Asim Richards, no disrespect, but Taliese Fuaga is the much higher-end player. And in the trenches, you're going to have to win. Luke Fortner is filling in at the center position since Eric McCoy is out with his injury. Fuaga, Kelvin Banks, if they are both ready to roll, obviously Banks is healthy, but if Fuaga is ready to roll, this will be your starting lineup. Trevor Penning was traded away at the deadline, friendly reminder, so Dillon Radunz is going to be your starting left guard. But on the defensive side of the football for Atlanta, James Pearce Jr., Jalon Walker, both rookies, both first-round picks. Those are guys that the Saints are going to have a game plan for. I think that Kelvin Banks and Taliese Fuaga both can hold up very well against those players, but they're going to need to put up a good matchup. Rukaroro, Brandon Dorlus, and Saints legend David Onyemata, familiar face, are also going to be in the trenches for Atlanta. And the Saints got to win in that area. The trench warfare is so important for New Orleans. Brandon Staley, I need you to be ready to roll, especially on the defensive side of the football. Get after Kirk Cousins. Bring the pass rush, bring the heat, and especially on the offensive side of the football, this isn't just a one-sided conversation. You got to protect Tyler Shough. You got to keep him upright. And you also got to get success on the ground game, and winning in the trenches in terms of the rushing attack is just as important as protecting Tyler Shough, because if you cannot get the ground game going, then the offense will struggle to move the ball downfield in terms of passing as well. And you don't have a ton of weapons at your disposal in terms of receivers since Brandon Cooks is now out of the mix. So you're going to need to do your best to win in the trenches. Now, coming up, we're going to talk about the Saints legend who sounds off on Tyler Shough, shared his honest thoughts. And I just got to tell you, a little bit of a spoiler, I 100% agree with him. But first things first, we got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Tushy Bidets. Ladies, gentlemen, I know you got to keep that hiney shiny, so go and get a Tushy Bidet. Enhance your toilet time and improve the bathroom experience. Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. And what do you give sports fans who have everything but a respectable roster? A Tushy Bidet to soothe their stress hemorrhoids. But it's a great gift for a brother, a dad, a homie, a roommate, or someone who lights their farts on fire. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's a gift that refuses to pick a lane. It's luxurious, practical, and so easy to use. Every Tushy Bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. I'm not an electrician, I'm not a plumber, but I was easily able to set up my Tushy Bidet in less than 15 minutes. I highly encourage you to get one as well. It helps enhance your toilet time. It helps keep you clean. And trust me, you will love it. And we got a pretty sweet deal for you. If you click the link in the comments or description of this video, you'll get 10% off your first bidet order. Now, remember, a-hole is only a naughty word if you wipe for a limited time. Our listeners at Saints Now get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code CHAT when you check out. Click the link in the comments or description of this video and keep that hiney shiny. Now, in case you didn't know, Tyrann Mahtieu has a new podcast. The first episode just dropped earlier this week. I got to check it out. It was really awesome. I highly encourage you to do the same. And for what it's worth, I'm going to be tuning in every time he drops an episode. And if you're going to tune into Tyrann Mahtieu's podcast as well, hit the thumbs up icon because I am going to be tuning in. I know a lot of y'all are going to be tuning in. It's going to be great to hear from a Saints legend and Louisiana son on a regular basis, kind of keep up with what he's got going on outside of football and in his personal life. He talked a lot about LSU, he talked a lot about the Saints, and he talked about Tyler Shough. So Tyrann Mahtieu was asked about what changes he would make to the New Orleans Saints, what changes need to be made on the New Orleans Saints, and this was on his podcast, In The Bayou. Again, highly encourage you to check it out if you want to see exactly what he had to say. But this is a little bit of a synopsis of what he had to say in terms of how or what changes need to be made. I think the changes have been made. And this isn't a knock on Spencer Rattler. I love him. But I think going to the young kid, I think gave them some spark, man. I think especially from a receiver standpoint, it's like he's not scared to push the ball downfield. And I think that when you have the Chris Olaves and guys like that on your team, you've got to be willing to throw the ball deep and keep them engaged in the game. I feel like this past week against the Carolina Panthers, that was probably Olave's best game. To be totally honest, every single word of that agreed with. Nothing against Spencer Rattler. Nothing against anything that happened before Tyler Shough started. But Tyler Shough was doing things that Spencer Rattler wasn't. He was pushing the ball downfield. He was creating plays. And this isn't going to turn into a knock on Spencer Rattler. This is just praising Tyler Shough. Tyrann Mahtieu, one of the greatest all-time football players, at least the greatest Louisiana football players of all time, had nothing but good things to say about Tyler Shough. And it's not to say that he's a perfect product by any means. Even Tyrann Mahtieu addressed that. But at the end of the day, he has been playing well. And Tyler Shough, for what it's worth, over 1.5 yards more in his average depth of target. The A dot right there you see on your screen, 9.9. Spencer Rattler was at a 8.3, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. In terms of the completion percentage and the yards, again, we haven't seen a ton. Realistically, it's not 2 interceptions. It's 1 because it was a 4th down conversion, trying to make something happen against the Rams. Like, I just got to say I've been very, very impressed with Tyler Shough. And I think that it's really telling when guys like Tyrann Mahtieu and Drew Brees, for that matter, are giving high praises to this player. And I also think that Tyler Shough needs to do his best to try to keep the momentum going. He created such good energy, and he created so much momentum for him and the offense during that Panthers game. I hope that can carry through the bye week, and I hope that can carry through on Sunday because, again, you're going to need that offensive line to come through and win in the trenches so you can see that momentum continue to roll. And it's not like he's going to have an easy job. You don't have the most illustrious set of weapons. You're a little bit thinner because you traded away Rashid Shaheed at the deadline. Brandon Cooks recently requested a release, and it worked out for the Saints. It worked out for Brandon Cooks. Saints save a little bit of money. Brandon Cooks, he now has the ability to go sign elsewhere, but you don't have a ton of options. Of course, you have Taysom Hill. Of course, you have other players in the tight end room, but you're going to need to find creative ways to create offensive production. I hope Shough can maintain the production. I hope he can maintain the momentum because this offense is going to need to find ways to succeed, not just on the ground, but in the air. And I think that it's really, really interesting to see the comparisons that Tyrann Mahtieu made where he said you gave the team a little bit of a spark. I think that's exactly what you got from Tyler Shough. He's played a ton of football. It's not like he's a perfect product, but I have a lot of faith in him, and I think that he's somebody who can do a lot of good things if you give him time. He's getting better every time he takes the field, and he's somebody that with more reps, I believe, will be a better player. He's had a lot of injuries that derailed his career in college and his seasons in college, but I think that when you get him in the right system, and if Kellen Moore believes in him and he saw something, there's no reason to not go out there and let him just ball out. So give me a Shough yeah in the comment section if you're ready to see Tyler Shough ball out against the Falcons. We got to go get a win. We got to eat a W at the Dome, and we got to just go rain on the Falcons parade because, good Lord, it is absolutely hilarious what's going on in Atlanta. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's video. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. We'll have more content coming at you throughout the weekend, and we will be live on game day. I hope to see you there. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications. We'll be right here on Saints Now by Chat Sports 1 hour before kickoff. We will see you there.